coming to you live from Kenny's basement apartment where I keep hitting the wrong buttons and somebody else celebrated too early for the Super Bowl and lost it all. It's Sports Allegedly.
Welcome. Thank you all for joining us for this late night edition. Kind of like After Dark edition. Thank you for this episode of Sports Allegedly. We're coming to you live on the Day of Love. The Day of Love. February 14th, 2025. And we got so much to talk about. We'll get a little NBA. We got a lot of free agency talk. But let's recap that Super Bowl. Obviously, we're the last ones to recap it. Everyone's been able to recap it because it was Sunday. We're a week ago.
Yeah, I should have brought the computer. We should have just done it that night.
We should have, but what hasn't anybody said, Sean? You got anything that nobody hasn't said? To go over the whole.
You had Kansas City getting beat by never being blitzed. I don't know if you saw that statistic.
And a couple of. I think they had a couple of blitz.
No. Philadelphia beat them on a 3 or 4 man.
I think statistically
there were 0 blitzes.
They did a lot of stunts and stuff.
But there were no blitzes. And if you remember when Braun got that interception, he was just sitting there spying.
Oh, that was just a bad pass.
Well, he didn't know that Braun was sitting there spying. I guess he was covered up by somebody. And Braun just came out, and you remember that Braun's been a embattled player for the last few seasons.
Just a backup. Talking about the Saints, he was a backup special teams guy. Comes over and
he's up at middle linebacker,
and does great for the Eagles. But I thought when you started the game, I thought Kansas City looked flat. Then they turned around. Philadelphia scored.
They turned around and stayed flat.
Well, Philadelphia scored, and then it's like the first quarter. Okay, it's 7-0, and then you just start seeing the wheels fall off. By the time it's halftime, it's 24-7. I thought the big thing that I saw was on the offensive side. I have to admit.
At halftime it was.
No, I'm talking about the first half. Offensive side.
It was 24-0.
I'm sorry, I said 7, but it's 24-0. But I thought offensively, and I must admit that I'm wrong. Hurts played a hell of a game. What Kansas City done defensively was, hey, let's stop Saquon, best running back in the league.
And they did. They focused.
They did.
They focused on that, I think, a little too much.
They did, and there was no adjustments in the second half. But I thought the first half, Hurts made the plays that happened. His legs was what I saw more out of him that I'd seen most of and maybe that was the secret. Who knows? He just, and third down efficiency. I was talking about it, 3rd and 12 is what I see statistically, but I saw some of the biggest third downs was him, the two running, the two running, and then he had the one pass for like 9 yards. I think it was 3rd and 8 or something.
He did not get out. He did not break out like he had in the previous 2 games.
And then you turn around and you look at Vic Fangio, and we talked about that Fangio's defense was night and day compared to what the defense was last year. And they turned around, and the front 4, and you're right, they didn't do a lot of blitz. They did some. But
apparently there were 0 blitzes.
I see that, but they did a lot of stunts, and it's not like I don't know what statistically you say is just you can't bring more than 4 is not a blitz, but they did a lot of stunts.
If you run a 4-3,
but here's the deal:
and you just bring those 4 the whole time, it's not a blitz.
So ultimately, though, the reason for the demise of the Chiefs again eerily reminded me of what we saw in the Chiefs when they played Tampa Bay. Was the defensive line was dominant? I'm just saying, the defensive line of Tampa Bay was dominant. The defensive line of Philadelphia was dominant. I thought the offensive line was their weakness. Creed Humphrey's good, obviously. And then you turn around and there's really not a lot else there, that's so good.
You have one other, and I think it's your tackle.
One of the tackles, but
it's one of the tackles. I remember the
and we talked about in the pod before is we both picked the Chiefs to win. Well, I did.
I picked Philly to win.
I'm sorry. We both picked the Eagles to win.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
I don't know where you're getting this Chiefs win.
No. We're usually used to it. 31-23 Kenny and 31-15 Sean.
And I really expected a closer game. I did not expect garbage time from Kansas City.
Well, I mean,
okay, they could not get anything done the entire first half.
So look at who screwed up stuff as far as
the Ravens. Then you get your first touchdown and you go for 2.
Yeah, I thought they were buying points early there. I mean, but they were down 24-0. You know,
but still, I mean,
no, I don't even think they were down 24-0. I think that 6 was later, because I think that the Eagles, if I remember right, they had a really long third quarter drive, and there was like 5 or 6 minutes left in the whole third quarter. I mean, they drove, and
to the game cast.
Hey, listen, I mean, when you really get down to it, wasn't this the least dominant year?
It was 37-6.
There you go. Okay, so didn't I
34-6?
And I think they had a long drive and scored a touchdown. There you go. 5 minutes.
Yeah, they had,
in the third quarter.
Yeah.
No, talking about Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So it's 24-0. They scored a field goal. Doesn't sound like a lot, but they took 6 minutes out of the third.
And then they got the ball back for another 2:40.
Exactly. That's
in the third. Got another touchdown.
And that's when it was over. And the Chiefs players, I'm not saying they give up, but that was giving up. I mean, you could just tell. The defense didn't know what they were doing. And we talked about the line play. It was important to talk about that. Every player, when you talk about the Eagles, was destined to be better. I mean, you had Mahomes, and you had Creed Humphrey, and you had, who am I missing?
Kelsey.
No. And you had
Kareem
Andy
Hunt.
Reid. That's the 3 people that was any better than anybody on the Eagles. Eagles are the best built NFL team right now.
Well, you just counted.
Besides the Lions.
You're discounting DeAndre Hopkins, who ended up having a drop pass.
Dude, he's not. He wouldn't start for. He wouldn't. He would be 4th or 5th wide receiver on the Eagles. I'm just saying, when you put the 2 teams together, the players wise, DeAndre Hopkins is way down the list.
I think it'd be 3.
No, maybe at best. At best.
But he'd be 3.
Okay, so he'd play every other play or whatever. I mean, you got, like I've talked about, you've got the Eagles. That's the best wide receiver tandem, and you didn't even need him.
No, you honestly didn't. I mean,
I'm sorry, you needed them in this game, but you didn't need them every game during the regular season. You didn't need Saquon this game.
Right. Well, Jalen he was the leading rusher with 72 on 11 carries, and
they used his legs at the most appropriate time.
Yes, he used his legs at the most appropriate time. Not they.
Well, they too. There was some run.
There was a couple designed, but
yes.
There were also a couple that he did on his own. I watched that. Okay. He did on his own.
Sure.
His wide receivers were covered, and he took off.
The 2 Super Bowls he's played in, he's excelled, and he beat Mahomes in both Super Bowls.
Love hearing
statistically.
I love hearing you talk Jalen Hurts up.
I admit
this team dissolving.
I admit that a quarterback could come in with the best O-line and the best defense, and he can look good.
But did you believe the season before that Jalen Hurts would have won a Super Bowl?
No, because he didn't. So I'd be right.
But I mean, did you believe that?
Didn't believe he'd make one.
Yeah. Even after that, did you not believe that he would end up back in the Super Bowl after last season? After watching last season, and you know, it was
weird.
Still a playoff
it was
team.
Weird.
They were still good,
but Sean, we talked about coaching changes last year, and we thought Vic Fangio was the best coordinator hire. Yes.
I don't know why Miami got rid of him.
Yeah. Oh, I think there was rumors that he coached him too hard, and
well, you see what coaching you too hard gets?
But you must admit,
you get Cooper DeJean, a rookie, on his birthday with a pick 6.
Good, and that was a great draft pick.
And do you know who the last?
And we got them on one of the best picks of secondary, him and Gonzalez.
Do you know with Andy Reid who was the last white cornerback to get a pick 6 was?
I don't know.
New York Giants. It was Jason Sehorn against Andy Reid and the Eagles. It was that one where he flipped.
Would have been a Super Bowl, obviously, but
I'm saying it was the last. Yeah. But he flipped. He was playing corner and he went for the ball and he flipped. He rolled over and then jumped.
I thought Reed Blankenship really played an unheralded game. If you watched him, it's tough. DeJean obviously.
I'm saying Zach Bond was.
Good play. I mean, he's going to statistically, but Josh Sweat, obviously a rookie. A free agent.
Yes, they had to figure out how to get him back.
And that's, if you look, I don't know if you pull that up. We'll talk about free agents later, but Eagles have quite a few of them, And that's generally how that happens. You build a mega team. But Roseman, the GM, should be given a lot of credit.
Did you see that Kenneth Gainwell had 2 tackles?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that on fumbles or something?
I don't know.
No.
I just know that he has 2 tackles.
No, I just thought Harry
He's
Roseman.
listed on the defense.
I thought Harry Roseman has built a great team. And they've built it on a quarterback that really hasn't.
He's been embattled.
Well, it's the coach was more embattled. But then you bring in
Barkley.
You paid a little more than people would go, oh, what did they pay, 13, 14, 15 million for him? I was like, well, nobody pays a running back now. Well, you look at it now. This was the year of the running back.
Absolutely.
And
this is the year the running back came back.
And how that shined. And now you're thinking, well, okay, do I pick up running backs? Is that significant? Really what we've always talked about, and the best teams generally have good coordinators, great lines, and a star on either side of the ball.
Well,
some star. Make it a star.
You just said great coordinators, and Kellen Moore was that coordinator that you're talking about.
He's a head coach.
He is now.
He took a.
I'm going to say this. We discounted Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator at his time with San Diego and at his time with Dallas.
Not so much Dallas, definitely San Diego. But we forgot how bad the defense was in San Diego. And then allegedly he turns around. Is he hiring Brandon Staley as his D coordinator at New Orleans? I've read a report. I'm like, he got Staley, who was the head coach when he was at San Diego.
Right.
It's horrible.
It may be.
Yeah, I think that's a bad hire, but
to each his own. I don't know. I saw Matt Patricia getting I think that was Ohio State.
That's a great hire, I thought. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But no, Philadelphia, and I had picked him for our pool pick. I had picked him at 64.
Nobody cares.
And I ended up getting that on garbage time, which I
predicted 54 and had it in the fourth. I predicted it exactly.
I think he had 57.
No, it was 54. Yeah, I had 54.
Somebody had 57.
I picked it exactly. He's exactly right.
And he's out, and he's dancing, and he's celebrating, and Xavier Worthy scores another touchdown.
Late. Bullshit. Garbage time.
They go for 2. And they have no chance of, even if they got the onside kick, they still have no chance of winning the game. I just thought it was a very well together game plan from offense to defense.
The best team won. We talked about
it. But it was a very. It didn't look like they changed anything from first half to second half. They stuck with what they were doing.
Detroit and Philadelphia in the NFC Championship would have really been fun to watch.
It would have.
And then Goff just pissed down his leg, puked out his mouth, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and that was him going against a coach that had been there before, and a very good defensive coach, I will say, because you remember the Cowboys had been in the playoffs, and then without him, the Cowboys were just horrible trash this season.
Yeah, but Washington beat him. I don't. Oh, you're talking about how they played
about
before.
Quinn. Yeah.
Well,
and then Detroit goes on to lose all their coordinators. Philly's only lost 1.
Well, Vic's not getting another head coaching job, so
no, Vic. I don't think Vic wants another head coaching job.
He doesn't. That's what you do.
And that's
what defensive coordinators do. Steve Spagnuolo, Vic Fangio,
and the other guy said, "I don't want to do this again." But
if they get it, they take it. But
on a side note,
but NFL loves the prima donna, the young up and coming OC, and how many's going to get fired?
Favorite quarterback with tiny hands has a Super Bowl ring now.
It doesn't matter. There's a lot of backups and no players that have Super Bowl rings. It's cool. Doesn't matter.
But there was
let Kenny Pickett win it. Let Kenny Pickett win a Super Bowl.
I did see there was a Kansas City Chief that did get a 3rd Super Bowl ring. So one guy did three-peat.
Yeah, he'd been on the.
He was on the Chiefs for the last 2 seasons. And then he came over this season to Philly, and it was Kieran or.
Don't know. Nobody cares. It was a statistic.
I think he was an offensive lineman. But he ended up did the 3-peat.
Let's talk about the Chiefs a little bit. Chiefs had arguably the best record for the worst team you've ever watched in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
They were 15-2.
How they pulled out 2 games?
Regular season.
They pulled out
yeah,
six games.
Regular season 15-2. And then so what do you? It's getting ready to be the time that you're going to start. I mean, Philadelphia is going to have a little bit of a dip, I think, next year. But the NFC East is pretty easy.
Yeah,
depends on what Washington does. They have a lot of cap space.
They're not losing. They're not really losing. I do know that Travis Kelce has been.
Well, you've got Sweat. You pull up the top free agents that's coming. I mean, you've got Sweat. You've got a couple other people on defense that could be critical to that. And then you've, what's A.J. Brown's problem? He seems pissy. Won a Super Bowl.
No, he got the Super Bowl now. I think he's better.
Okay.
So here you go with the top free agents. We're looking at Kansas City's got DeAndre Hopkins coming up.
Nobody cares.
Justin Reed.
No.
Philadelphia's top guy is Sweat.
Yeah, but go back down and see if they got anybody else. I think they've got a few others that's going to come up on the defensive side. And maybe not. I mean, we're going down the list. Doesn't seem like a lot of Philly.
Kansas City's got Marquise Brown coming up. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay, Eagles
looks
has
like
nobody.
Sweat.
Eagles is party on. Wow, that's it.
Oh, here we go. Brandon Graham.
Okay, that's another one, but that's not.
That's only $4 million.
That's not a big one.
Yeah,
no, that's not a big one. I thought there was somebody else that I'm just missing.
No. Zach Bond. Yeah, that's all the free agents that are coming up.
We'll talk about free agents in a little bit, but no, I think the Eagles are bound to be there. Sweat's not going to be a big deal. Carter, they're going to have to re-sign soon, because he's going to be going into the 3rd year, I think. Cap space, Mahomes, they don't spend a lot of money on running backs. They didn't run the ball in the Super Bowl. That was another thing.
Kareem tried.
Well, no, I mean play calling was
you don't have
all
run. But you don't have a dynamic running back. You didn't have that break open that Samaje Perine had against Buffalo.
Yeah, no. I think the game plan was just odd. I think that Mahomes, they won, and how many deep throws did Mahomes have? It's like why'd you miss the short shit? No, that was early. You need to really look.
Well, the ones that connected were late.
Late after it was already over.
Well, you had the drop by Hopkins, you had a drop by Kelce, you had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, but a lot of those passes were shit, though. I mean, even the Kelce, some of those throws, and they dropped it. It's like, Kelce should have had that.
Hollywood, I think, had.
Why is he diving for
Hollywood
it?
was 2 of 6.
Why is he diving for it?
Well, one, they threw it at the fucking ground.
Exactly. Worthy had to have a good game. First Texan Longhorn to score in a Super Bowl ever. Congratulations. I think an OU guy got the MVP, though. Are we calling that? I mean, who knows?
Okay,
who cares?
If you go to the SEC Network, they don't recognize his time at Oklahoma.
Of course they don't. It doesn't matter. I mean, I think all that stuff is just so fucking generic. It's just, I mean, the reason he came to Oklahoma was because of a coach that's not here anymore. Period.
Well, and that he wanted to learn how to pass, and that's what he did. He learned how to be a passer at Oklahoma.
Well, no, and I thought the past 2 Super Bowls, he's passed really well. But I thought key plays in that game was with his legs. I thought the defense for Kansas City, their point was to stop Saquon, and they did for the most part. Then you turn around and look at their offense. Too many throws. They should have ran the ball more. They tried in the 3rd quarter. They come out and they get stuffed. And then I think the Eagles, that was the play I was talking, the drive I was talking about earlier, that the Eagles had plenty of yards or plenty of time that they took off, and it's like, holy shit, we're down by this much. They only scored a field goal, but you thought, damn, that's a backbreaker. How many 3rd downs that they got? Those 3 3rd downs that they got was crucial, and then have the legs of Hurts. Like I said, I'm here to set that. I have stated that I thought Hurts would not be a good NFL quarterback. I've shit on him enough. And now, granted, he's got one of the best offensive lines. He's got a defense to back him. He's got the best wide receiver tandem. But sometimes that's what you need. His composure's been wonderful. He's not an up-and-down guy. And I was wrong as far as saying that guy is a good NFL quarterback, especially when you put him in the right position. And I thought Kellen Moore played that well. You look at Dak Prescott, some of his numbers when Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator, who I thought was weak. I didn't think he was that good. I was wrong there. He put up some of the best numbers. Now go back to Herbert. Not so sure. I thought the defense was horrible. Offensively, they look good. And so now he's got it. He's the head coach at the Saints, which, I mean, you've got Derek Carr, who's one of the more talented. Sometimes he looks dumb. I'm sorry, just dumb when he makes his decision making. But I think he's one of the more talented quarterbacks.
But also look at what Harbaugh's done with Herbert. Made Herbert look better this season.
Not necessarily. I think that's been more defense, culture, and special teams.
But no,
Herbert
did look. He looked better.
Did he?
Yes.
He
looked better than he had in the last few seasons.
Not statistically, I don't think.
Do you remember the playoff loss to the Jags?
I'm saying statistically he didn't look better. I think that was a culture change. I think that
Herbert was one of the top passers, wasn't he?
No, I'm just saying that
this season
his statistically I don't think is any better than it was the year before. We'll pull it up though. Dun, 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 dun. Let's look at stats, and I do love stats.
I know your pants are getting tight right now.
Yeah, so this year he threw for 38, 23 and 3. Well, he did have statistically, but see, 2 years ago he was 47, and that when Kellen Moore was there, and then 5,000. So no, statistically, yards wise, now mistakes better in quarterback rating.
But that's what I mean. Like as a
no, I just don't. I just don't think they put him in that position because they ran the ball a lot more.
And that's fine, but he's still
It's not his best year, is what I'm saying.
No. I wouldn't say it was his best year.
Statistically,
I was just saying that he was better with Harbaugh and what Harbaugh has brought in.
Well, they took away his two best receivers, but Ladd
McConkey's in. Quentin Johnson looked a hell of a lot better.
But that's only because he was there. 65%, almost 66%, but he had 65, 68. 2022 was his best year.
And that was Kellen Moore, wasn't it?
I believe it was. Yeah. Yes, I believe it was.
Was that the year they lost to the Jags in the playoffs?
Oh, I don't know.
Weren't we watching that?
That was bad.
Yeah, that comeback.
Can we talk about that team not good? Mm-hmm.
The Joe Jackson. We'll get into that. We'll get into your love of Jacksonville.
Oh, no, I'm right. I'm so fucking right about that.
About what?
Just him.
Okay. So, anyways, Philadelphia repeating. It is, I do know they're the betting favorites for repeating next season.
As they should be.
Baltimore's right behind them. I believe Kansas City's right there with those two teams. I believe Buffalo is picked at the number 4 team, number 5 team. I don't remember. I saw this stat like yesterday, so I've done a lot since then. And well, here's another thing. Your top running back for Kansas City.
Joe Lombardi, actually. It was Joe Lombardi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's at
because Kellen Moore was only
was he quarterback coach?
Just once, yep.
Huh.
Of course, you've got Greg Roman now, which I like him, but a lot of run game. I mean, they were better. I mean, Harbaugh is more focused on running and whether it be, Steichen was Herbert's rookie coach in 2020.
Really?
Yes. Lombardi was 21-22.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Forgot about that, didn't we?
I did. We all did.
I forgot about it.
This is what Steichen only spent 2 years at Philadelphia? 3?
Yeah, Lombardi. Where is he at now?
Oh, Lombardi's with Buffalo, isn't he?
Hold it. He's the Broncos. That's
Broncos.
Right. Yeah, he's the Broncos. Yes. God, I forgot about that.
Because he was at Buffalo.
Yes. No, never at Buffalo.
I thought Lombardi went to Buffalo.
No. Lions for a little bit under Caldwell. Then he went to the Saints. And that was a quarterback coach. And then he went to the Chargers. And then he's at the Broncos.
Well,
And he was fired after the wild card loss to Jacksonville, where the Chargers lost a 27-point lead.
Who was with
Which is ironic that you fire your OC for being up 27 points. God,
we watched.
And he's the defensive-minded coach. That's why they hired Kellen Moore for that 1 year. It's fucking nuts. And then got fired. That's why he ended up there.
But we have watched them do this numerous times. We have watched head coaches scapegoat to keep their jobs. What Chicago went through 2 offensive coordinators during the season, this last season.
Yeah, they're trash.
And trying to justify why, Caleb Williams was horrible.
Was that Shane Leffren or what was his name? Shane.
I forgot. I too many.
God, you brought up that wild card loss. I had forgot that Brandon Staley, a defensive-minded coach, has fired his offensive coordinator, being up 27 points, and fired him.
Right.
Now, here's my problem. When I was talking to you earlier about, I thought that Kellen Moore getting that Saints job was great. He's looking at hiring Brandon Staley as his defensive coordinator. I just don't. Familiarity is great, but I just don't.
Well, and we don't. Is Brandon Staley a better coordinator than he is a head coach?
Possible.
You do run into that a lot. I mean, you look at Mike Tomlin, who's been a head coach for how long? And he was wasn't he the defensive coordinator whenever he was
I'm
under?
more out with that guy.
I know, but you look at that. So
you talk about Dennis Allen, who came from the Saints. The Bears. Your Bears.
Yeah, he's now
I
with the
thought
Bears.
that was a great hire.
Yeah, for their defense.
Yeah.
We have.
Who's your OC hire? Remind me.
Oh, the OC hire was
boring, if I remember. Oh, Ben Johnson's calling the plays. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I forgot.
It's a nobody. It doesn't matter. Ben Johnson's calling the plays. He's gonna call the plays.
I forgot where that guy came from.
It's funny to think. Oh, he's a nobody.
Declan
Comes
Doyle.
from Iowa or something.
Yeah, he was the tight end coach at Denver Broncos.
Yeah, but he came from Iowa, I think.
Says right there.
So we're talking about coaching right now as we moved on for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you could look at next year's odds. Pull that up. You were talking about odds, and I'm sorry I interrupted you on that because you said that that Philly was the number 1 odd. I've got a couple surprise teams I want to talk about as far as not necessarily
Washington.
not necessarily taking to the end, or I mean winning it all. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Philly is number 1. Kansas City's number 2. Buffalo is number 3. Baltimore's number 4.
Gotcha. AFC. Except
Right,
the Eagles,
Philly.
Minus.
Washington's got to be up there. Detroit is an plus 1,100.
Why do you think San Francisco's back there?
They spent an entire season injury riddled,
but getting rid of Debo.
They've
got it now. You talked a little bit about when you were talking about. We'll get the rumors about San Francisco. Remember the rumors for the Aaron Rodgers. And Brock Purdy's due for a deal, even though God, what is the Tampa safety? He's the GM and
Lynch.
No,
John Lynch.
John Lynch, yes, not Marshawn.
I don't know why I said Marshawn.
He said he's going to sign. So what do you pay Purdy?
Well, you've gotten away with getting him cheap for this long.
And so what do you pay him now?
Well, and we've
he's
talked
due
about
40 to 50.
But we've talked about that.
We have, but what do you pay him?
What was the Daniel Jones?
40 a year.
Yeah.
4 for 160.
Yeah.
Is that what you pay him?
Yeah.
You think he takes it?
Of course he'll take it.
You think anybody would pay any more?
Well, and that's where you get into the rumors.
Got to be a dome team.
Well, it is a dome team.
Because he plays like shit in the weather.
But it's a dome team in the desert, and it is Tom Brady.
Vegas?
Of Tom Brady trying to get him to come there and let Aaron Rodgers go to San Francisco, but trading to get Brock Purdy in because he likes the way that Brock Purdy sees the field. He likes the way
super big.
He likes that Brock Purdy.
Of course, I was wrong about
the 4 years.
Jalen Hurts. So, but of course, Jalen Hurts is more athletic. He's more smarter. He's better athletic.
More smarter.
More smarter. Yes, more smarter. I like more smarter. So you look at that list. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl is a team that didn't make the playoffs. When's the next team that didn't make the playoffs? How far do you got to go down? Of course, this is according to CBS Sports. When's the Bengals? Okay, so that's second. Fair enough. And then keep going down. Keep going down. Keep going down. And then what number is that?
Did Minnesota make it?
They made the playoffs. Well, yeah, they had the fucking home field advantage. Right behind Detroit. They had a home field game. They lost.
Oh, that's right. They were above the Packers.
Yes.
Chicago.
And that's the next one.
And then Miami.
So Chicago's tied with the Broncos and the Buccaneers and the Vikings. And what makes Chicago better than any of those three teams? Nothing. Because they hired some wonder kid that thinks he's some OC genius. I promise you this.
And Dennis Allen.
They ain't going to make the playoffs. They are not going to make the playoffs. Mark it down, slap a label. The Bears will not make the playoffs.
Not with that quarterback. I wanted him to take Jaden Daniels.
The Buccaneers, on the other hand,
in the weakest division of all of football,
will make the playoffs. The Denver Broncos made the playoffs this year and was a nobody. And now you've got to think, okay, now who's the team that takes a step back? The Vikings, probably. But they ain't worse than the Bears.
Do the Rams take a step back, or do the Rams keep going forward?
Well, okay.
Green Bay, does Green Bay take a step back?
Well, now
Because
Green Bay's,
I'm going to tell you right now,
in the running for Garrett. That's been a rumor.
Right, but I'm going to tell you right now, Philly, Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore are,
and the Lions take the top five odds.
You're replacing a lot of staff,
dude. They're all in the playoffs, so you can't say those top five teams are in the playoffs.
Okay.
You can number 6.
San Francisco.
They didn't make it.
Well, what is going on there? Are they going to be healthy?
So let's get to it. Oh, healthy. Debo's gone.
Debo wants to
trade.
Be gone.
So then what do you do with Brock Purdy, who's not that good? I mean, he's just not.
Just stop.
I'd take Hurts over fucking Purdy. I've said it on this pod. I'd take him over Purdy. I've made that very clear, so I don't want to hear this dramatic.
That's fine. I'm not giving you dramatics for it.
Okay.
But I'm saying, I will say that Washington has a better shot of getting there over Detroit and San Francisco.
Oh,
Washington is missing two pieces.
San Francisco, yeah. Oh, no.
2 to 3 pieces.
No, Washington's missing about 6 pieces.
No, 2 to 3. They're missing a dynamic running back. And they're missing.
I don't even think they need a dynamic running back. I said I think they need a number 2 wide receiver, and I said the rest of the 5 need to be on defense. Daniels masks a lot of problems on offense. Get another lineman, maybe. I don't even know if you need to run the ball. Who's the running back? Remind me. God, I can't remember.
It's not McLaurin, is it?
No, he's the wide receiver.
Yeah, McLaurin's Robinson. It's Brian Robinson.
Okay, he's not bad. That's okay. He's got another guy.
But
Get a backup.
But you need.
How about a Mostert? Got cut from
that's
Miami.
Fine. And
okay,
that's
just bring
fine.
him in.
Like I said, you just need a dynamic running back.
That is not a problem. It's the defense. The defense is horrific.
The defense has one issue.
San Francisco is done. They are toast. You're going to talk about Shanahan being not fired, but you could potentially see him traded.
Hot seated.
How about a trade? How about a trade to somebody that's got a better team? Because everyone thinks he's a wonder.
Shanahan to Tennessee?
No, I don't think so, because I think Callahan's good. Who's going to quarterback there? That's where I think Aaron Rodgers is good.
Aaron Rodgers has a multitude of spots that he can go
I don't think he's got any.
He's got Cleveland.
No.
He's got Pittsburgh.
No. He's a cancer on a team.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But I said that he's got options. Las Vegas.
He doesn't.
He can go to
pick a team. Hold on. This is just my opinion.
Tennessee needs a guy.
Okay, he does. Pick a team that's got a weak head coach, a weak owner that's desperate.
Las Vegas.
No, you've got a headstrong coach there. You've got Pete Carroll.
That's right. Carroll came in.
I think Tennessee's the best bet because.
Oh no, he can definitely go to Cleveland. They are pushovers.
I don't think
and
so
they will
either.
overpay.
No, because what are you going to do with Deshaun? You've got to do something.
Deshaun is done.
You think so?
Deshaun is done. They've all said that he's done.
Just because the injury, what are you going to do with the next 5 years? Or are you just going to cut him and eat it? Which they should have already done.
They did a restructure. You remember they did a restructure.
Yeah, but there was a point to that, so there had to be some sort of guarantees. I guarantee you, there's a back end.
I don't know what
shit happens on the backside.
I know, but it's like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins in that massive contract that he signed.
That's a good bring up. What are you talking about?
That massive contract that he signed.
No,
they have until They have until
He's a post June 1st, I think.
Well, it depends on the money. I think pre-March or at March.
I think it's later.
A cut at March, he makes a certain amount. Post June 1st, he makes a larger amount.
Yes. So you cut. So
you want to cut him early.
Okay, he might be an early cut.
Yeah,
but, okay,
you want to cut early.
Where's he going?
Oh, he could end up on Tennessee. He could end up in Las Vegas. He could end up anywhere.
Okay, so
I mean, you got New York Giants still looking for a quarterback.
Well, that's the Stafford rumor. You've seen that.
But still,
they got the third pick.
You told me about it.
They got the third pick in the draft. What do you do with the third pick? Do you give the Rams a third pick for Stafford?
Jaguars.
Hold on. Do you give
do
you give the Rams third pick for Stafford? With the idea that Stafford signs a 2-year fairly friendly.
Stafford and takeovers. Oh, that says Matthew Stafford of Vikings. Who says no?
Oh, that's just that. No, that's not going to happen.
Receives. Hold on. This would say that LA receives
because it's late. It's late. It's late. It's late. It's a late pick. And you got O'Connell there. I could see the.
I mean, like we talked about, like we talked about in Minnesota, just franchise tag.
If Darnold, if you want to keep him,
franchise tag.
Make sure JJ.
See what happens to JJ,
good on the
and
knee.
then you can let Darnold go the next season.
Yeah, because they've got the cap space to do it.
Yeah, you want to see, because when we looked at it,
I think they're third or fourth.
Minnesota is not up there.
Oh
no,
they're seventh. Sorry, seventh, right up there.
Yeah, Minnesota's number 7.
Yeah,
so they do have the cap space to work with it. Like I said with Washington and the Myles Garrett issue, Washington has the money to pay Myles Garrett to come there.
He does. They do. Yes.
Now, if you're looking at it, he said he wants to go to championship.
Now, that's a trade, though, so you can't
Still,
just have the money. You've got to give up some equity back with it.
Still. But a team, like I said, the teams that could do that would be Detroit. Detroit could give up the trades, and they still have the capital to pay. San Francisco
Okay, so now you could talk about that. That's a good idea because the pressure from the Philadelphia Eagles to that Super Bowl was huge. So maybe you could offset Detroit's lack of secondary and linebacker. They're not good in the back. They're good in the front 4. In the back 7,
they've got a decent linebacking core.
I don't think so. I think that's their weakness. Besides Goff, and I've always said that, but Goff just had a bad game.
Oh, you're talking about Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
Getting. I'm talking about getting.
Oh yeah. The problem with Detroit was massive injuries. What was their secondary? They were down to like 4th string.
They did have a lot of defensive injuries. So maybe if you bring a lot of those guys, maybe if you bring a lot of those guys back, what do you focus on then? Right now,
well, you don't need anything on offense.
I agree. I totally agree. Unless you need some line help. They were
okay. A backup lineman doesn't hurt anyway. A really good backup.
But I thought their secondary, even though they had a lot of injuries, was very boring. Just
pedestrian.
Pedestrian.
Because they had a massive amount of injuries.
Then you got Cincinnati, which I must talk about.
Cincinnati and their defense has needed help for how long?
Well, not that long. Because they fired.
And he wouldn't have to move.
Because
he's already in Cleveland.
No, he's not going there.
But if he goes to Cincinnati,
because Cincinnati's too cheap.
We don't know. I mean,
they are. Like I've said, Joe Burrows is never going to go back to a Super Bowl.
$49 million cap space.
Chase still hasn't been signed. Hendrickson still hasn't been signed.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
I
forgot about those guys.
So those two are huge, and they've got cap space. And even Joe Burrow's come out and been like, "Hey, help a brother out. Hey, Joe, you shouldn't have signed so early. You need to get you." He's going to request a trade eventually. I've said this already.
Smoking Joe.
That's what he should be doing right now.
If Smoking Joe.
Hold on. Let me finish. When Hendrickson or Chase doesn't sign an extension soon, one of them this year, one of them next year, you're going to be looking at Joe Burrow going, "Hey, listen, I'm fucking done. Trade me or I'm setting out." Period. And that he's going to make that call, and everyone's going to come. And then you look at who's going to be available with the cap space that's going to be living up. The Rams, because they're going to sign somebody short-sighted, like an Aaron Rodgers, or a Sam let me finish, like a Sam Darnold. And who else? What other team is going to be there available that doesn't need a quarterback? Oh wait, the Jets. Depending on what he does, Glenn does, you're looking at those two teams and going, "Oh shit, you haven't bought into a quarterback. that you just fell in love with. And where's Joe Burrow go? Saints is another one. Carr could get out. Obviously, you got the LSU connection. Look at those teams like that that's going to be waiting.
But if Joe Burrow were a team player, and
he is a team player.
You've already dropped Mixon. You've already dropped Samanje. So you lost your really great running back tandem to bring in Zach Taylor.
The Bengals are cheap.
Who didn't produce.
Cheap. No, Zach Taylor's produced more than any coach has done that, and he's probably...
I'm talking about the running back.
Zach Taylor. Who's Zach Taylor?
Zach Taylor, the running back?
No, their coach.
The one from Indianapolis?
Maybe. Do they have two Zach Taylors? I don't think that's his name.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
Wasn't either right. So, anyways, you get rid of Mixon and P. Ryan.
Zach Moss.
Oh, Zach Moss.
There you go.
So you get rid of Mixon.
Zach Taylor's a coach.
Yeah, you get rid of Mixon and P. Ryan. You bring in Moss.
We knew that'd be a fucked up deal. Yes.
And it didn't work out.
Of course.
It has not worked out.
We could have said that
Mixon
as GMs of the year. We are GMs of the year.
Yes!
GMs
Mixon
of the year.
has had an amazing season at even though injury, still had an amazing season.
Yeah, the Texans sucked ass.
Yeah, you saw what happened when the Texans were without him.
Yeah.
Okay, P. Ryan has been integral in certain wins for the Chiefs.
Old, but good. Yes.
He did carry a bit of the team whenever he was in Denver. He was their workhorse. And so you have no running back there, and you have I would say almost diva wide receivers, but not really.
Really?
They're almost diva.
They're not.
They are almost diva.
Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver. I'd take him over Jefferson, just like
that's why I would too. I mean, you had how many games of 200 and plus yards?
Hell yeah!
Whoa, calm down there.
He was my best fucking player.
So you've got Jamar Chase doing all that work by himself on the offense. He is the offense. Burrow needs to take some of that money that he signed for.
No, don't say that. That's bullshit. That's
restructure
bullshit.
To help out to get players in there.
I disagree. I think
I don't.
Look at all the cap space they've got, even with Joe Burrow on the fat contract. They were in the top 10, weren't they? 11, sorry.
No.
Yeah, 49
number
million.
11.
11. Okay, so they could sign Higgins and Henderson.
But what I'm saying is restructure the fat contract.
He doesn't have to right now because he's
and
early.
Get even more.
No, he's early in his contract. He could restructure.
That's fine, but you can still get even more.
That's bullshit. I mean, it's a cheap team. They're not going to sign him. They got rid of Mixon. That pissed them off already. Now, if you get rid of Hendrickson, also a possible candidate for Tampa Bay. I'm telling you, Garrix or Hendrickson going to be at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is right there close. I'm just letting you know to being a Super Bowl.
How long are you going to keep Todd Bowles as your coach?
I mean,
we talked about how his decisions have hurt that team.
Yeah, made the playoffs.
You made the playoffs.
And and Washington beat two badass teams, Tampa and Detroit. It's one of those.
And I had called Tampa, Washington as being a late entry team.
We all called it. Don't take credit. We both said that Washington was over.
Stop tapping the board.
Yeah. So don't act like it was you. We had
I had to talk
them at
you
10 or
into
11.
I had to talk you into it.
No, not at all.
I had to talk you into it.
Not at all. No, you're wrong about that.
I'm not wrong about that. I did have to talk you into it.
Okay, early. Let's stop right now. Who's your early team that didn't make the playoffs that might make it next year? Just thinking a little bit,
Oh, you want to?
Are you gonna pick San Francisco because that's easy? Is that what you're gonna do? I think you would. You would because Brock Purdy's gonna sign a new contract extension.
Well, the only other teams that we missed, you really want to go down the list, the teams that we missed.
No, I'm just saying someone that could come back in there next year.
Oh, Green Bay.
They made the playoffs.
You said they could come back.
That didn't make the playoffs this year. Yes.
Seattle's kind of right there.
Going to roll back with...
Seattle's on that tip.
Yeah, they
Seattle's
missed,
right there on that tip. Now... We missed San Francisco. We missed Dallas. I don't see Dallas getting back in this.
Oh God,
no!
They're done. They're done.
And those were the only two that we missed for.
Sure.
For the now.
So
now we move over. We move over to the AFC. Miami, the Jets, Cincinnati, Indianapolis.
It's trash.
Miami, Cincinnati, Indy, and Jacksonville.
Yeah, Denver was the one, because they got
So this
three
was
teams
yours,
out of the
this was
AFC
mine.
West.
Yeah.
3 teams. Just Houston, obviously. And I don't see anybody coming out of the AFC South that's going to make the playoffs. You could talk about Jacksonville, new coach, Liam Cohen.
I'm not.
He's a bitch. And
You still butthurt about it.
Tacky's it comes. And Trevor Lawrence.
I could see
Have you
Miami.
seen the Trevor Lawrence joke trade, though? I don't know if that was realistic, but about sending him to the Giants. And I'm like, do it.
But I would say
Cincinnati is
I'd say
my team.
Miami. I can see Miami making it back in.
Cincinnati's my team that's going to bounce back.
Miami's doing a lot of money cut right now.
As long as Hendrickson gets re-signed.
Well, Miami's doing a lot of money cut right now.
Oh, I think.
So that way they can sign.
Pick it. Yeah, you pick that one because I think they're horrible. I think that's it.
Well, no,
I think Mike McDaniel's going to get fired after this year. Maybe mid-year.
Josh?
Mike McDaniel. He's the coach of
I
this.
thought Josh was.
Josh is the OC at.
Josh McDaniels. Yeah, that's right.
Who
He's
brought
OC
back
again.
the team? Who brought back? Oh,
I'm thinking
Vrabel.
Vrabel.
Yeah,
I was thinking Michael McDonald. You
He's
want to
Seattle.
see?
Yeah. No, Seattle's close, but the division's too hard. Because I do think San Francisco's going to be better.
Yeah,
And I think the Rams are going to
be.
be, depending on the quarterback issue. I mean,
Shanahan and John Lynch make a lot of very good decisions to stay relevant.
You should really record this date on how many time and what date because
It's 11:15.
I think when they give Brock Purdy about $40 million a year, I'm going to sit back and go, oh boy, this is just
what
not
40 a year for 3 years, or
3 year $120 million.
yeah.
Jiminy Christmas, who else are you going to pay? Dak Prescott's got the highest next year. He's like $90 million, but nobody cares about the Cowboys because they're done.
Oh, they.
When I feel bad a little bit about Brian Schottenheimer.
I know. I was about to say.
I don't think he was. I think he.
You think he's a 1 year scapegoat?
1 year, maybe 2. I don't think he was that bad of a hire. I thought he hired some good assistants.
I do. And he went on a tear hiring
Ebers
system.
lose. That's funny. We'll see how good he is.
But what I'm saying is that do you see him as?
But I mean, really, when you talk about the AFC, NFC, pick 3 teams on each side, and they're going to be in the fucking Super Bowl next year. NFC, Philly, Lions.
I say Washington.
Me too. Tampa'd be 4th, but I'll go Washington. Those 3. Other side,
Baltimore, Buffalo,
Kansas City. That's the 6.
Blam. We're tired of it.
That's it.
We are
It's
so tired of it.
It's the same ones.
Buffalo breaks our hearts every year. What is this? Been 3 years we've been doing this?
80. Anyway,
And Buffalo has broken our hearts
80.
for the last 3 years.
It's like Josh Allen. You had it this year too, and it was the worst Chiefs team.
I watched him in college. I loved watching him in college. It's like this kid's gonna go. Watching him at Wyoming, I'm like, this kid's gonna end up in the NFL, and he's gonna be a steal. And he was a steal, and he's gonna go.
He got to be a steal,
and he was gonna. I was like, I figured first 3 years. 4 years maybe, he would be in the Super Bowl. And what's happened?
Not yet.
He runs into Kansas City, or runs into Baltimore.
Well, here's the deal. You run into generational teams.
Or you run, and Cincinnati has been a bane too. Let's not forget that. Cincinnati has been a thorn in there.
I agreed, but think about Joe Burrows. They beat them, yeah. But you think about all the teams that didn't make it during Brady's years.
With the good quarterbacks and
yes. Peyton Manning lost a lot. Who else am I missing?
I'm trying to think.
Who's that one? It was Peyton was the one that was the most. Who was Baltimore? That defense was so good at Baltimore, and they really didn't need a big quarterback. But you look at those teams that Brady was a part of, that just missed a lot of games.
Let's see, AFC. Let me see if I can just pull this off.
Anything
just
yeah. I was trying to think of some teams. Who am I missing? Because
we're
missing some big. Peyton comes to mind.
Peyton's the biggest because it took Peyton a lot. Just to even.
Obviously, there was some quarterbacks at. At the Raiders.
No, I don't believe it was. You want to try to say Carson Palmer? Andy Dalton?
I mean, I had Andy 1 year as the Cincinnati. That was like 15-16. They had a really good team.
Oh, it's so. God, I'm trying to remember all the quarterbacks that we watched growing up, or in that era.
Oh, Rivers. God, that's
Phillip
another
Rivers.
one. That's another one. Oh, my word.
Phillip Rivers was the Dan Marino of his area, even though he never made it.
Phillip.
Even though he never made it to
Phillip.
Drew Brees.
Okay, so Peyton was number one. Patrick Mahomes beat.
Oh, is this who beat or who lost?
I was looking at the AFC generally. Ben Roethlisberger was another one.
Oh yeah, Big Ben. We forgot Big Ben and him used to go at it all the time.
And both were AFC losses. And Andrew Luck, but
I don't
but Phillip Rivers, he lost 3 times to Brady in the playoffs. Yikes! Steve McNair was the one. There's Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon
that was the Tuck rule. That was the year that probably the Raiders were the best, and that
Joe
was
Flacco.
No, that Tuck rule. I believe that was Gruden's last year, and he left and then went to Tampa after that. If I'm not, and Joe Flacco, yes. Oh, Joe. Otherwise,
yeah, it was.
Otherwise, just trash on those. But yeah, I think that. But
well, I remember we remember sitting there watching. And
Peyton reminds me.
Drew Bledsoe
is the most. Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe starting at the Patriots, and then they went, oh, let's bring this kid.
Well, Drew got hurt, and he never got his job back.
Never got it back.
And it happens. I mean.
And what was it? Vinatieri was the one that actually technically won him the first Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Well, was that? I think it was the defense. I think they played the Rams, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the Rams, but I'm saying it was Vinatieri's field goal.
Yeah, and I think the high-scoring Rams, who beat my Tampa Bay Bucks like in a really weird 11-6. Sean King quarterback.
Kurt Warner.
Yeah, they only scored 11 points. We stopped them. Defense was badass. We had Sean King as our and right after that they fired Dungy.
So, yeah, there's a lot going on right now in free agency. We're just setting.
Hold on. So
we're just waiting to see where the pieces fall.
Well, okay. So we haven't really talked a lot about free agency.
Draft is in.
Yeah, we'll talk about draft a little bit because Bridge is going to.
What I'm saying is draft is in a month.
Well, let's talk about quarterbacks. I mean, quarterbacks. So you got Stafford, Aaron Rodgers. Is that the 2 big ones? Am I missing somebody?
Well, you're missing Russell Wilson.
Okay,
I know that you're also gonna.
Let's just do those 3.
Justin Fields as well.
Okay, let's do those 4. So where they end at?
One of them's going to end up in Las Vegas.
For sure.
I can tell you right now, one of those guys ends up in Las Vegas.
Okay. Would Russell Wilson not make sense with Pete Carroll being there?
Knowing him and knowing that he can.
But what about Aaron Rodgers? I mean, Jets were like, hey, we're fucking done. We ain't got a quarterback. Tells you enough about Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, whatever team picks him up. Hold on. Whatever team picks him up.
There's a lot of quarterback needy teams.
No, I don't really think that's the case. I think there's going to have to be a headstrong coach, and that's why I like Vegas in that. And I like the Rams. Stafford, there's been rumor that he could go. Where does he go?
Yeah, because they don't have a decent backup for him.
Well, no, I don't know. They're all pissy about the wife on social media.
Oh, I don't care about the wife. I'm just saying.
There's rumors.
But he doesn't have a backup. He doesn't have a decent backup.
Who's he? Who's he?
Stafford!
Oh, no, we're talking about the Rams. If he leaves, who cares about...
But I'm saying the backup on the Rams.
Oh, I don't know who it is.
Behind?
I don't know who it is.
You know who it is.
Who is it?
Stetson Bennett.
Who cares?
There it is.
But I'm just saying they're going to want somebody because
that's why I'm saying that.
Then Cooper Kupp's gone. They're getting rid of Cooper Kupp. They've already said, and we'll pay salary.
And they want to send Kupp to Pittsburgh. Apparently, just if you want to dump somebody, you dump them in Pittsburgh.
They seem like the most desperate team.
You just dump them in Pittsburgh
like a dog. You feel some desperation there in Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I do too.
So.
I really, who's sitting pretty right now in the AFC is like you talked about, the Ravens and the Bills. They're sitting there going, okay, we're fine.
Kansas City's still okay.
I don't think so. I think they're done.
And I'll tell you, the Chargers are sitting good too.
They need another wide receiver.
That's fine, but they also need they need that good back as well.
Dobbins played pretty well.
He has
statistically played well. He had some injuries.
Just one more back.
I think Harbaugh comes in and says, let's play a little better defense.
Hold on now. I
remember
the Broncos look good too. Talking about Will Disley, and you did not know who he was.
I knew who he was. I didn't think he'd be a pass catcher. He was more of a blocker.
Oh no, he's pass catcher. I knew that
for
man.
him.
I knew that man as a pass catcher.
Well, I knew that guy.
I knew that guy.
You didn't draft him. You picked him up late.
I never had him.
Somebody did anyway.
No, I never picked Will Disley
Yeah.
up because the first 2 years that Will Disley was first 2 or 3.
He's a nobody. He was a pass.
He was in the
run
league
blocker.
for Seattle.
He was a run blocker.
He would get injured
Yeah.
and be out for the season. That was the problem. That's why I don't pick him up.
Yeah.
That's why he's a player that I just don't touch because is he going to be injured? So that's our.
I'm talking about quarterbacks, though. Well, I mean, let's get back to that. Where do you think? I mean, we'll talk later, but I mean you got the big. You're gonna have the biggest free agency. This is actually one of the biggest big name free agency right now.
Aaron Rodgers should be done.
Okay, you think he retires? Or
No, I think he should be done, but he's not going to be done. He's going to end up out west, somewhere out west. Like I said,
he can't go further east than the Jets.
Cute.
He ain't go. I'm just saying.
He's not going to end up in Cleveland.
Cleveland's the worst.
Even though Cleveland wants
Can you name a worse franchise in the NFL than them?
Chicago Bears.
No, you're not even close, dude.
Or
You guys, no, you're
we're
better.
shit. We're
You're
trash.
better than Cleveland.
No, we're not.
Your defense showed some signs. You have a,
You let me talk about my team.
and then you signed a coach that's never been a head coach. The
You
biggest
let
contract
me
ever.
talk about my team the way I want to. All
I'm
right?
just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh, contract-wise, definitely Cleveland. If you want to make a massive contract and not have to do anything, go to Cleveland.
It's bad.
If you wanna have like a rap sheet, go to Cleveland. You remember whenever
Hey, we haven't even talked about somebody that I
who
wanted
was
to talk
the
about.
coach? Who was the coach
What
in
about Sam
Cincinnati?
Darnold?
Hold on.
Oh,
Who was the coach in Cincinnati that oh crap, went to the playoffs, signed Pac-Man Jones, like his entire team was like had a rap sheet. Like everybody there.
be the guy before Zach Taylor, and I can't. Oh, talk about the
Marv.
No, it's
Merv?
he's bald and he's African American.
Yes. It was like I was
Stu
like,
Jackson, Lou Jackson.
No, that was Marv.
It's not
Merv.
Marv. And he went to it's shit.
Anyways, that used to be the worst team. I remember that.
So we talked about Stafford. We talked about Rodgers. One person we forgot about was Darnold.
Well, we mentioned him a couple times.
but I mean,
but we see him. Like I said, we see him staying in.
1 year 40,
Yeah,
or do you
just
go?
take the franchise tag?
Or do you go 2 years?
I would
70.
say that it all
How
depends.
about that?
on,
2 years. Would you go 2 years 70 at Tennessee?
It's going to be depending on his want to start.
It's Stu Jackson is what his name is, or something
not
like
Stu
that.
Jackson.
Stu something.
It's Merv.
No, it's not Merv.
It's Marv. Marv
No, it's
Harrison.
not. You already
What was
passed
that?
it. They have had 3 coaches in 20 years.
Marvin Lewis.
Oh, okay, Marvin Lewis. What about Stu? Wasn't he there?
No.
Oh,
If he was a assistant.
interim. Gotcha.
There's old Dave Shoeless, Sam Weich. I remember the Sam.
Loved
Weich
Sam
years.
Weiss. He went to
Loved
Tampa after that.
him. He did.
Mhm.
He really did. Didn't
Yeah.
have the same magic that he did.
No, he didn't.
They really only had 10 head coaches.
They're cheap.
That's crazy. But yes, Marvin Lewis.
Well, good for you.
No.
No,
It depends on Sam Darnold's want to start. If Sam Darnold really wants to start, there are teams out there that he can go to, and he can sign.
Yeah, but they signed him cheap. He had a
Stop.
good year. I
Stop.
mean, what teams want to do
Stop.
that?
There are teams that he can do that. He can do it in Tennessee. He can go to Cleveland and
So
do
what
it.
do you sign him at Tennessee? Give me a number. If you're GM, you're looking at Sam.
Well, I don't
Darnold.
know. I don't know what
Nah,
base
I'm
is.
asking you.
Hold
to
on.
be,
I don't know what the base is right now.
Base of what? You just sign him to anything you want. It's not a base. Just sign him.
Yeah, you have base.
No, you don't. You just sign him to whatever. You could sign a guy to 3 years, $6 million.
Kenny. You have the amount of years that you've been in.
It's a minimum of like $2 million a year or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're not
How
going to
long
sign
is
him for
it-
that.
You look at the
Don't
minimum.
look at a base. He's not getting a
You
minimum.
look at you,
You're
no,
not
no,
look-
no, no. I'm saying you look at it and then you say, okay,
You're talking out your
he's
ass.
had one good season his entire career.
That's what I'm asking. What do you do?
So, does a 3-year, $20 million too much?
That's what you say.
I said, is it? Do you think that's too much?
No, I mean, is that? Is that what you're basing that on? He went 13-3.
You've had one good year.
13-4?
You've had one good season your entire career.
He signed for $10 million this year. 1 year, $10 million.
All right.
I think that's what he did. Hold on, I think that's what it was.
I didn't look at it.
Well, I'm just
saying, you had one good season. You backloaded with incentives.
Says market value spread to be over 160 million over 4 years. So that's the Daniel Jones. Yes.
All right. Well, I guess you signed him to the Daniel Jones. give him the old D Jones.
So
fuck it.
So so the franchise tag was about.
You said 40.
I said 40, but I think it's going to be higher. About 50. Good God.
Like I said, take that franchise and just see what happens.
Cousins signed a 4-year 180, so that's 50, 45. Is that 45.9? Yeah, it's 45 million.
But remember, he's getting cut, so that's out of
Doesn't matter. He sucks. But anyway, yes. But I was trying to find out what the free or what do we call it? The 1 year. What
the franchise?
Franchise, yes. Projected price tag much easier. Man, I don't know. But anyway, you said what? 3 year, $20 million?
Yeah.
$7 million? There's not a fucking chance.
Yeah,
backups making more than that.
Hold up. Agents take quarterback franchise tag $39 million.
Close to 40. Okay,
Close to
so
40.
that's Daniel Jones. Yes.
Just give
but
him,
that's only 1 year. That's only 1 year.
I get it. All right, so just give him the goddamn
1 year 40.
Just give him the 1 year 40.
But what if he finds a team for 2 years at 70? Would you do that?
Yes, but it all depends on his want to start. If he wants to start, if he doesn't believe that he's not going to be coming in as the starter, and they're going to have J.J. McCarthy.
Well, they know more than us about his knee and how he's doing.
Everybody's.
I mean, McCartney was kicking his ass in off season. I mean, he was going to be the starter. I mean,
but McCartney in a real game,
it fucking
way
don't
different.
Matter. Look at Sam Darnold. I mean,
you just stop.
I mean, you look at pull up the schedule. Pull up the Vikings schedule this year. Just the Vikings. Win losses, who they played, and the scores. I think that Sam Darnold maybe got a little more credit. I mean, you got one of the best OC minds.
Where did he play at? Minnesota. Shut up.
And so look at the scores. I mean, and we saw him.
All right, so here it is.
Let's go to the top.
The top is the end. This is the beginning of the season.
Okay.
31-9 loss to Detroit. Okay? You win 2 points, 27-25 to the Packers. You win 3 points, 27-24 to Seahawks.
We're getting ready for a lot of trash teams. Keep going.
Right. So you get 30-12 Bears, 42-21 Falcons.
Go. Keep going.
How much do we relish that? 23-22 to the Cardinals.
Trash.
And then you only beat the Bears by 3.
Doesn't matter.
Then
trash.
you have 23-13 to the Titans, which are trash. 12-7 Jaguars.
Mm-hmm. Trash.
21-13 Colts.
Good team.
You lose 30-20 to the
Good
Rams.
team.
You lose by 2
but it's still a good
to the
team.
Lions.
It's still a good team.
Anyways, then you go on to beat the Jets 23-17.
Packers was a good win.
There's no blowout here.
No, the Packers was a
Houston
good win.
was the biggest blowout. Houston was the biggest,
and they struggled.
and I forgot who they had were missing that game.
Listen, Vikings, get rid of Sam Darnold, let him walk. Don't sign him.
I would let him walk.
Don't sign him for anything. Save the money. You've got a shit ton of cap
Who's
space.
their defensive coordinator? Didn't they bring in
Flores?
Yeah.
Isn't it Flores? Is he still there, or did he leave? Brian Flores.
Looks like your defense.
And they
did a hell of-
improved.
Looks
They
like
improved.
yeah, it looks like
Yes,
your
they
defense did a hell of a.
Boy,
because you remember that year they went to the playoffs and we were laughing. They were like, "This is the worst defensive team in the playoffs," they won with a kick.
Spend some money on some defensive players. Get a running back. They definitely need a running back. Who do they have as a running back this year? They got rid of Matson because they fuckers 2 years ago
They
pissed me
brought
off.
in Aaron Jones.
I liked him. I thought he did okay.
Injury prone.
True, but bring another guy. Maybe draft a guy.
Yeah,
Draft a
you really.
speedster. 14-3.
And Ashton Gentry is
Hey, right there. Look,
Ashton
Sean,
Gentry is
hey,
Scatterboo.
look at the points for and points against. Now you beat Green Bay, obviously.
Almost 500.
Exactly. Look at the offensive versus yes, exactly. Darnold ain't the guy. Move on. Don't spend stupid money. That's what GMs...
I mean, the fact that Chicago points for, points against was only 60.
Well, just don't spend stupid money.
But that's what I'm saying. If you look at Chicago, who was 5-12...
Now, your contract, if you want to bring him a 3-year, $21 million, I'd be all for that.
You like it?
Yes.
You like that 3-year,
Sam Darnold's age like, fuck that shit. Where are you going to go? You going to take the Tennessee route?
He could end up in Cleveland as well.
The Cleveland deal's just...
You keep,
I don't
you
even
keep
know.
focusing
I don't
on
even
Deshaun.
know.
Deshaun's done.
I don't even... I know.
Watson is done.
But you just can't... that's why I love the free agency. The free agency is going to start, I think it's the 12th of March. And then you've got the draft at the end of April.
Yeah.
And
Combine's coming up, which, Travis Hunter smartly went in as a defensive back. So, and we talked about that. We talked about how...
Weird quarterback class this year.
Cam?
What we talked about the Giants back to free agency. Giants have the 3 pick. Did I talk to you? We talked about Stafford. Would you give that up? Did you say that, or did you just not talk? Did you not answer me?
I may not have answered you.
No, I mean, would you, as the Giants, would you give the 3rd pick up for Stafford?
I guess you bring in an old man and wait till 2 years down the road when there's better quarterbacks.
Maybe one year. Who knows?
Anyways, you wait till there's better quarterback coming out.
It's a weird draft. You can get a lot of good players later.
Where's the? Oh, here we are.
Is Hunter the number 1 pick?
It's been a toss-up because Tennessee needs a quarterback. Cleveland needs a quarterback. New York Giants need a quarterback. Travis Hunter could fall to 4.
No, he won't. Oh, yeah, to the Patriots, yes.
Right.
Gotcha.
He could fall to the Patriots.
Jaguars need a quarterback. They won't, but anyway. Just saying.
Raiders need a quarterback. Jets need a quarterback. There's also trades. We don't know what the trades are going to look like right now. His best fit, I guarantee you his best fit would be on Carolina.
Oh, God, I like the Jets. His best
Travis
fit
Hunter.
with
Travis Hunter.
He ain't going to fall that far.
I know he's not. But there's also talk that New York's just going to tough it out for another season and,
Oh, I disagree. I think that
tough it out for another season.
I think the GM and Dayball. I think it's Shane. Is that his name? Joe
is
Shane
Dayball
or whatever.
still there?
No, they're going to have to make a bold move, and I think that's why Stafford keeps getting brought up.
Okay, so Stafford gets there, but you're not giving up a first round, and you can take
hell
Travis
no,
Hunter.
You're not going to. But that's what the Rams are going to want to suggest.
But does Tennessee trade out that first round?
God, I would.
You still got Will Levis.
If you could
get trade out
hold on,
first
what would
round?
you do for? Would you do 3 ones? And a shitty team.
You're
Needs to
gonna
be a
take a lot.
shitty team.
I'm gonna Dallas.
You
I'm
can't.
gonna
No.
Dallas Cowboys
No.
your
You
ass.
can't do a Chiefs. You can't do something like that. You've got to roll in with a. How about if the Raiders or the Panthers want to move up that, then you take it. Do a shitty franchise, a normal shitty franchise.
If
Would you do 2?
Really, yeah.
And then you got to get somewhere in the top 10 as a replacement.
And then you got to remember that you're gonna trade 4th rounds.
Somewhere,
picks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you need that
swap.
You need a good
pick.
firsty back,
right?
And then
you
next
definitely
year's
get the
first or
firsties
the next or whatever.
It's NFL is so weird with how you draft. Baseball, basketball,
fucked up. Yeah.
You just give everybody your first rounds and that.
Or
and
stretch that shit out to 2080.
Hockey's like the same way. Just give them the first rounds and be done. We're just doing so. All right. UFL starts March 28th.
Don't care.
I don't know why you don't know.
Nobody cares about that.
All right, what do you got for the other news? We have done nothing. Do you want
love? No, I think football is king.
We just did nothing. We did an hour of football. We did an hour of football.
That's good. Thunder, yay! Going to the All-Star break, lost last night to the Timberwolves.
Ew.
It's fine.
Crazy.
We come back big time against. It's going to be very disappointing if the Thunder don't at least make it to the championship game. They're set up.
I would say it's very disappointing if they don't make it to the title.
That's what I'm saying. The championship game. Oh, the title game. Sorry.
Yeah, the title.
Miles Garrett to the Bucks. Have I mentioned that? I'm just kidding. We're back to football.
You keep whispering
Hey,
it.
Shaq, the TNT. That was funny.
OU
Yeah.
women. Yeah, I love Shaq.
Softball's undefeated.
OU
for
women.
I think
Oklahoma State women
lost
just
tonight,
lost
yeah.
today or tonight to UCLA.
Gymnastics for OU's good.
So
Porter
Texas-
Mosier's done.
Yeah. You
that's
are
my
done.
prediction. Yeah,
He went into one of the toughest conferences.
I don't know. I love the hire, and they just look like shit.
You went in undefeated. You drop 4. You win 1. You drop
Hey, listen,
2. You
listen.
win 1.
Porter's going to be fired if he doesn't make the tournament. He might be fired if he does make the tournament.
Yeah, I can see that.
Venables is. And then you had the DeMar. I love OU. We are
Okay, so what's
OU
going
lovers.
on with that? What's going on with DeMarco Murray?
Why are you talking to
saw
Penn
that.
State? Are you wanting another raise? I'm kind of borderline done with that, a little bit. Why is this? Why is this something that just keeps getting brought up? Now, if DeMarco, if you didn't touch it, if you didn't talk, and it's just a rumor, good for you. But if you're talking, why is this an issue? This is the second year in a row. First it was Ohio State, now it's Penn State. What's next year? And then he stays. And it's like, do you want to raise? I mean, it's kind of borderline. God, go.
I'm still, of course, about the Jim Knowles choice. Penn State's why?
He's
Why?
from there. He's from there.
I don't
He's from there.
Mine is that I'm against Penn State.
Well,
just don't like
Franklin's
Penn
got a longer contract than fucking
I
Venables.
know,
I'm just
I know,
letting you
but
know.
I'm just saying I'm against
Yeah.
Penn State.
I thought Penn State making a great hire. I think they're getting ready to spend a bunch of money. They make the playoffs, and I think you watch next year. That's one team that doesn't sniff anything.
Yeah, I can see that.
Look at the schedule. Schedules are going to change quite a bit.
I haven't seen.
Because you're
A lot
rotating.
of the schedules.
Big
I've seen
Ten's
a
not going to
couple of them.
rotate
No.
like the SEC, where we have the same schedule next year.
I haven't looked
Big
at
Ten
everybody's.
changes it up a little bit.
A lot of schedules have been released.
Drew Alar, I'm just not sold on.
I do like the fact that they brought the running backs back.
They're talking, top 10 quarterback. I don't.
I love
get
their
it.
running backs, and I do like that they.
Talking about Penn State.
Yes.
Oh, it's defense. It's always going to be defense.
No, but I love that they brought the.
Now, Ohio State's interesting. Chip Kelly got the OC at
Chip
the Raiders.
Gone.
And
He
then
lost it.
and then the defensive coordinator
Knowles left to
Penn State.
Penn State.
And of course
Losing-
they promoted
losing-
Hartline, who's a good recruiter.
Losing your coordinators. What does it say as a coach? You're not.
It's
losing them
one went to the NFL, so you can't blame
back
him
to
for
the
that.
NFL. Back to the NFL.
And which is good. Losing him to another
Knowles,
team
you
that,
lost to a rival.
that was odd.
What does that say about you?
I don't know. I don't
What does
know
that say? There's something in the culture up there.
There's something going on. I would agree
I
with
might
that.
find that out.
I would agree with that.
I might go up there in April.
Of course, you talk about OU. We lost our DC, and he went to West Virginia.
We'll just act out. Yeah. What is up with our culture?
And then our head coach goes, "Hey, I'll call the plays," which is great.
Well, he did try.
The Knowles deal was, I think, you kind of wonder. Look at that. Was the Knowles deal more of a push by upper management?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what's going on, and college football is in disarray until we get done with this NIL transfer, two transfer portals.
Need to get rid of one.
I am with them on.
It's got to be after the bowl game.
Spring transfer portal.
Yes,
Get rid
that's the one.
of-
That's the only one.
If you want to keep the two transfer portals, okay.
Do one in January.
Keep
February.
Hold on. Keep the one transfer portal for baseball,
Talking about fall.
gymnastics. If you want to have
Do a spring and fall.
yeah.
I don't like the
But-
winter one. I agree.
But
They're
you
leaving in
need
bowl
to-
games.
But I know, but that's what I'm saying. So you need to spring is for football and a couple other sports. Fall is only for these sports.
Gotcha. We could do that. Yeah, you
You
can
can keep them, but just say you can only transfer if you play.
I
this
just
sport.
don't like the whole thing about the transfer portals. I don't like the timing right after the season ends. It's like you're going into
it's
bowl games and
massively-
everybody's fucked up.
and everybody's done. And how many kids?
Of course, that is a bidding war, though.
You've got kids setting out for that. You've got kids setting out to go pro. You've
And then
got
kids coming back.
You've got now. Well, and also
Sunday.
we forget that this season that college football went through the cut down of the roster, and that's why OU lost a couple
Yes,
guys
yes,
to
for
only
sure.
turn around and come
You had
back
to go
as
back
walk-ons.
down. Yeah, correct.
So we do
I
have
don't
that.
know. I mean, I love. This is not favorite time of year, because my favorite time of year is
Well, that's my
gonna be
favorite
August,
time of year
September.
because the UFL
But
starting, the
Whatever, nobody
European League
cares.
of Football
It's
starting.
it's the free agency is what are you going to spend? How are you going to make better? How can we critique you? And
the combine starting and who's coming out.
And so what about hold on, a couple teams that I think's got a little bit of talent. I want to name 3 teams. We'll talk about it next week.
You better
Three-
write that down.
3 teams. No, I can tell. I'll remember it.
I'll forget.
The Colts is one.
Oh, massive talent. That just was
Hold
wasted.
on, what do they do?
They were wasted.
Hold on, what do they do?
I'm just saying, Arizona Cardinals.
That's my second.
Wasted
Yes.
talent. Very good talent. Where
Yes.
did they go forward or take a step back?
And then where does the Raiders fit in? New coaching, good defense. The defense is good. They've always struggled on offense. That's the 3 teams that make me and I can slide the Patriots in there because their defense is pretty good. And they've got money. And they've got money.
Let's just do 5.
Okay, what's the 5th?
So we've got number
Colts.
1, Colts.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Let me write this down.
Yep.
Number 3, Las Vegas. Number 4, New England.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5 on
Don't make a playoff team. Don't make it. Don't mention a playoff
I
team.
would say Seattle. They're on the outskirts.
Okay.
Seattle was a very surprising team this year.
Yeah, but they didn't make the playoffs. I picked them. to
and
make
you
the
said
playoffs.
don't name a playoff, and they didn't.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. They are a very surprising team. They beat teams they weren't supposed to, and then they lost to teams that they were.
Who'd they hire as an OC?
Um,
Who was so much better than Grubb?
I forgot. I saw that come through.
Well, I think, and then I think is
That's like a month.
I'm sorry, Clint Kubiak.
Yeah. Kurt.
Clint. And his dad would be the Kubiak that used to be at Denver.
Mike Kubiak. Jim Kubiak.
But what my deal is Geno Smith back?
Question. Drew Lock, Tyler Lockett, DJ
Metcalf, yes.
or DK. There's a lot of questions.
I think Geno's going to be back because I think they
We
don't
don't
have
know.
an option.
We're not looking at
and
Seattle.
Geno's not bad.
We're not looking at Seattle, but we don't even understand. Hey, guess what? There's a lot of questions with that team right now of who's coming back because those guys are aging out.
Well, Smith and Jigba, good. Tyler Lockett's good.
I know,
but he's older.
There's guys that are aging
Metcalf's
out.
good. Who's the running back? That's the deal.
Who's
going to run?
Alexander. No, that's Sean Alexander.
That's a long
back.
time ago.
Yeah. He was the kid that they had Charbonnet who would run.
He did okay.
But there was the kid that was in front of him. And I forgot that guy's name because Kenneth Walker.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Zach, because remember, Zach had nothing
Michigan.
but running backs.
Michigan, I believe Kenneth Walker.
All right, well.
Tough division, though.
Tough.
Depends on what the Rams do. You said
Niners,
San Francisco.
Niner
Yeah,
rebuild.
what are they going to do? That was the most disappointing team. And that's what I love is because you got the Rams, San Francisco, and then the Cardinals kind of get fucked because, that is just a good division.
It's funny that we picked 2 teams in the top 5 from the same division.
Yes, correct.
So.
Because that's the most, you look at it and you think, can they best what else you've got, which is kind of trash, which I would like to go back and probably maybe pick the Falcons at 6 because I think with Penix as the full-time
but you got to think
generational running back.
You got to think about what happened.
Don't like their coaching staff, but
in the LA Rams, we had the LA Rams pick low because they lost a lot of guys.
Well, we picked the over on them. 8.5.
Did we really?
Yes.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we both did.
Even with the rookies coming
It was
in,
the
we picked
zone
the
that we
over.
picked. No, you got Stafford, you got McVay, you got Puka, Cup. He's leaving. And then you've got who's the running backs that everyone loves? Williams, Kyrie Williams. Yeah. So we thought that they would be better, and they were. But the Stafford deal is going to be interesting to see what they do. I love that aspect of the dramaticness of that. Go Thunder, going to All-Star break first in the West. Lost the last one. I think you're back 6-7 games. We didn't talk about the Luka trade. Luka, if Anthony Davis
talk about this,
hold on real quick. If Anthony Davis stays healthy,
he's not. He's already injured.
I know.
He's out.
If he stayed healthy, and the season's not over, it's best for
it's
Dallas to win in 2 years. I thought the Luka was the future. I think LeBron's leaving. I think Luka was the future, and LeBron's like, I'm not playing with him, or I'm going somewhere else. Where does he go? That's interesting. I thought the Jimmy Butler trade to Golden State was interesting only because that Durant was like, I'm not fucking going back there. And I love that. And I'm not a big Kevin Durant fan, but I love that he said that. I'm not doing it.
All right.
So, all right. Love y'all. See you. We'll see you next week.